So a submission summary. So let's summarize the submission. End of year one requires the submission of the staff demographic, the course, the student course completion, the career technical education, and the work-based learning file. Let's not forget the closing of students in the student enrollment file. You have to close out those enrollment records. Course completion data is required for students in departmentalized classroom settings in grades 9 through 12. Grades, credits attempted, and credits earned are required also. Submit student course completion records for all official grading periods. Identifies CTE participants by submitting course completion records, meaning LEAs identify CTE participants by submitting course completion records. That state course code in the CTE record identifies students who are participating. The SCTE record, rather, will identify those completers. Also remember they have to have a capstone course reported. And the one-year grads and completers are now part of the end of year two data collection. So previously it was part of end of year three. So you might have to rope in new stakeholders. The one-year grads and completers are now certified as part of end of year two. So that's a different data set altogether. So it may require the investment of new or other stakeholders at your LEA. So what is this data used for? Just a recap of what was presented in the overview. It's used by the state to provide counts for DataQuest, to provide metrics for the California School Dashboard, and for EdData. EdFacts submission on the federal side, the Migrant Exchange Network, the Civil Rights Act, Carl Perkins reporting, and ESSA, as well as the Individuals with Disability Education Act. Suggested milestones for end of year two. All right, so right now, if you're reviewing this recording, it is prime time whenever you're reviewing it to complete the data population in your student information system. You can also submit files. Even if the snapshot is not running, you can submit files to identify if there's any data discrepancies that trigger, to make sure you pass input validations, just to review the data before you need to certify it. If you do not have a complete data set, you can overwrite the data or delete it from CALPADS and submit the complete data set later. By the beginning of July, you want to be resolving certification errors and data discrepancies. Now, remember, you have to set your internal timelines for, you have to identify staff that's going to be available and staff that will not be available. Also, you'll be submitting and reviewing end of year one data concurrently. So keep that in mind. The recommended date for zero errors is August 3rd. From that day, August 3rd or 4th, until the 10th would be prime time to submit the reports to local data stewards, site leaders, and administrators. You want them to review the accounts prior to the deadline, so if they want you to make changes and amend data, you have time to do that. From the 8/11 to 8/17, you should be amending data. Remember, if you make changes to data, that may trigger errors, so you want to give yourself that timeline to amend the data. There is no amendment window. The final deadline is 8/17, not only for end of year two, but also your 4-year cohort. So there's, of course, always a lot of work in August. You also will be preparing for the start of your new school year. Many of you will have already started this new school year by 8/17. So we know this is a high time, a busy time. And so that's why we always recommend setting your own timelines. If you can have this ready to go in July and just be monitoring your summer grads, that would be ideal. Little in life is ideal, so manage it how you may, but these are the suggested milestones. So we've gone over the resources. All right, so when it comes to support, there's a hierarchy, right? We have a preference. The fastest way to get support is always to use the web form. You have to fill it out. It's a little bit more tedious, but it links all your previous requests to your most current requests. It allows us to connect you because you have stored information. You can always submit an email. That might be a little bit easier for you, but your request is going to be put in the queue. It's a little bit slower. Eventually, this email will be imported automatically into the system that does the web forms. So there's a little bit delay there. several emails come. I don't know how fast, maybe twice an hour, maybe once an hour. I don't know how often this comes in. And then the phone. The phone is the greatest delay. So although you can call us, it's not efficient because your voicemail will never be answered. It becomes a email request, which is transcribed, and it's not the best transcription. It may have improved. I haven't read an email request that was poor in quite some time, but eventually it has to get to the service desk. So just think of these as the layers that are preventing you to actually getting help. So if you want direct help, submit the web form. And then there's always the two listservs. There's the Figmat CSIS listserv, which allows LEAs and members of the field to communicate with each other and make suggestions about whatever. You can ask whatever question. It's really beneficial because your your colleagues have to use the same systems that you do, right? Same special education system, the same SIS, and work in CALPADS. Where we are proficient in CALPADS, they can communicate their processes throughout the whole data ecosystem. The CDE listserv is how you get flash messages sent to your inbox, right? So if you don't have a CalPads and LEA admin account, sign up for the CDE listserv so you can also get some communications from. So we want to say thank you for attending today's training. Thank you for your efforts and to support the students in California. And thank you for your hard work.